Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It is Friday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA. It's time for the weekend special. And this is a show you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes we have interesting guests, interesting topics, but it's a celebration of the greatest hobby in the world. And it's 20 Zulu on July 22nd, 2022. And welcome to everybody who is viewing. And today I want to follow up on a project that we talked about on Tuesday, which was putting up the DX Engineering Skyhawk, which is a tri-band antenna for 20, 15, and 10 meters, putting that antenna up on an old Army surplus AB-577 mast. And so let's get right into it. And I'll share my screen here. Okay, so this, let's give it another couple of seconds to make sure that everything comes up on the screen. This is an old Army AB-577 portable mast for communications that the Army used back in the 50s and maybe even earlier, I'm not sure. But they used to be very available surplus, but not so much anymore. But every once in a while, you'll see one at a ham fest, and that's where I found mine. And I paid $450 for mine, which is a 48-foot mast, and it's made out of these tubes that are about 5 inches in diameter. And this is the manual. So this is the Army Technical Manual for the AB-577. And then there's an extension kit that can actually make the mast go taller. And here is and it's nicknamed the rocket launcher because of the way you launch the tubes to make the mast. And this is the rocket launcher on its side, getting ready to go in. And here are the tubes that will go into the launcher itself that then become part of the mast. And you can see how there's these bearings where the tube slides. And you can see this is the tube getting ready to go up. And here is the DX Engineering Skyhawk tri-band antenna, which has got all monoband elements. And those black areas that you see on the elements themselves are just tape over the junctions. The initial owner of this antenna, which this antenna is probably at least 15 years old, maybe even 20 years old. This antenna was co-designed by WA3FET and myself back in the 90s. And it's been very popular ever since. It has monoband performance on a single boom with a single feed line. And here's the tower crew, including W3YQ, putting the elements on the boom. And this is the driven element area. So there are 3 separate driven elements, one for each band, one for 20, one for 15, one for 10. And then here is the ballon. This is a DX Engineering ferrite ballon that is used to go to the feed point. And then, of course, the coax goes right in here. And an overhead shot, here's the ballon down here, and the 3 driven elements. And then at the top of the rocket launcher, we put a ham 4 rotator so that we can rotate the antenna. And of course, there's the rotor cable so that we're getting ready to put the antenna on. And again, here's the first section in the rocket launcher, and the apparatus here with this crank will crank this up, and then we'll insert another piece of mast. So now we're starting to crank it up because it started down here, and you can see the guy wires here. We have 3 sets of guys on here, and here's the lowest set. This is on the bottom, right on the rocket launcher piece of hardware. And you can see we're getting ready to put in another section of mast. And here we decided for the test that we're doing, we only wanted to go to 30 feet. So we did not use all the pieces, but you can get the idea. Here are the junctions in the mast with the guy rings and the Skyhawk antenna on top of the high gain ham 4 rotator. Another shot of the very nice Skyhawk antenna, 3 elements on 20, 3 on 15, and 4 on 10. And this actually went through a storm the other night, 50-mile-an-hour winds with no problem whatsoever. And so I also want to show you today one other thing, which is I want to talk about one of the new DX Engineering products. And that is the guy wire guard, guy line guard, the GLG. And it's yellow and it's split. It's made by Preform Line Products. And it's split down here to go over the guy wire. And you can use this for 2 applications. The first application that I like to use it for is you've got these preforms. If you have Philly strand or even if you have steel guy wires, you've got these preforms on top of the guy wire attaching to the tower. And these preforms are not smooth. They actually are very coarse. And what happens is that over time, because the coax can lay right on these preforms, over time that can wear the coax. So you actually put the guard on top of the preform, and you can also use these guards because they're yellow and bright. They're also very nice for the bottom of the guy wire so that people or lawnmowers can stay away from them, right? I mean, that's really an important thing too. So I want to show you that here in the DX Engineering website. And so we'll do that. And so now we have up the DX Engineering website. And of course, every day we're adding things to this website, adding components, adding new radio equipment. So there's all sorts of things that get added on a daily basis to this. And so we're going to search for the GLG. So here it is. This is the guy line guards. And you can see that what these wire ties do actually is this is what holds them in place on the top or even on the bottom so they don't slip. And you can see there's a hole in each one of them. And they're fairly inexpensive, but this will do 1 set of guy wires. And so you have that. It shows with the tie wrap here for the attachment, showing the tie wrap going through the hole, and then showing the application of the guard going on top of the preform. So here's the preform. This is a piece of steel guy wire, and you've got the guard right on top. And here's some photos showing what happens. See, here's the typical rotator loop, which has, your coax, and the cable can lay, depending upon where your guys are in relation to your rotator, the coax can lay right on the preform, which is very coarse and can damage the outside of RG8, RG213, etc. So the idea is to put the guard, and you use the tie wrap up here to keep the guard in place. And now it has a very smooth surface to go over, which causes the coax to not get abrasions. And here's another example of the guy line guard. You can see the guard's in place and the coax is on top of it. So that it makes it very, very nice, and it makes sure that your coax is not damaged. I mean, that's very important, is to keep your coax from getting damaged. And let's see who we have in the chat room today. Let's see, we've got Charles, Chuck, K8 Charlie Victor Mike, and from Argentina, it's Lima Uniform 2 Juliet Sierra, and also Ed is on, and Ed, you've been on before, Whiskey 9 Uniform Sierra, And we've got our friend Greg, who is also a great antenna guy. And thank you, Greg, for your contributions to onallbands.com, the DX Engineering blog. Almost every day, a new blog story goes up. Onallbands.com. And this is Greg at November Charlie 7 Bravo. And Ray from ICOM America, I had one of these. Unfortunately, someone liked it enough to take it. Wish DXE would build the 577AB. Well, we thought about it, but it's a little bit out of our wheelhouse, and our project list is pretty long. From the Netherlands, it's Papa Echo 2 Kilo, and we've got Dino, Kilo Lima 0 Sierra is on. Looks like a candidate for a VHF UHF weak signal array. We'll have to keep an eye out for one. Lots of them up in Maryland there, Dino. And I know you and your wife were both in the service, but there's lots of them. The Potomac Valley Radio Club really likes the AB577. And we've got Whiskey 8 Alpha Golf India. And let's see, we've got Kilo 3 Charlie United. Ed is on. From British Columbia, Victor Echo 7 Uniform Tango Victor. And Rich, Whiskey 9 Lima Radio Mike. Interesting stuff, those guy lines. And that's from Papa Alpha 3 Fox X-Ray Oscar, Kilo Bravo 0 Sierra Queen Whiskey, and WA4 Mike Oscar Mike. And Dan says it looks like a nice, neat job. Well, it's just temporary. Although a lot of guys have these things up permanently, and it can handle you know, a pretty decent load. Whiskey 8 Sierra Charlie Charlie, Sean is on. And K0 Mike Delta, Scott says another great product, Tim. Thanks. Yeah, you know, I use this this guard here all over K3LR to keep the coax from getting beat up. And John Kilo Bravo 3 Hotel, our friend John, says we appreciate DX Engineering's thoughtful innovations and product refinements. Thank you, John. And we have Kilo Alpha 7 Mike Delta Mike. I'm always looking for call signs. And that's Greg. And Lonnie is on, Kilo Charlie 3 Tango Delta Whiskey. Lonnie, that looks like a brand new call sign. So congratulations about getting into the hobby. It's good to have you. And our friend Chuck, K3 Charlie Whiskey Echo. And always fun to talk to you, Chuck, on 75 meters. So two things today. We got the mast up. We got the Skyhawk on it, and next week I'll show you some of the sweeps from the Skyhawk. They are fabulous, fantastic sweeps. And you know, I think that you know, part of the deal is a good VSWR, but also has to have good gain and directivity, and the Skyhawk has that. And let's hope for a good weekend with no rain and lots of activity on the air, because that's what it's all about. We're going to have some great shows talking about the DXpedition to Kiska Island up in Alaska. Adrian is up there, and Hal, our friend W8 Hotel Charlie, is they're on their way up there. And so it is going to be a fun time. But this weekend, get on the air, have some fun with the greatest hobby in the world. Until Tuesday, when we'll do Tuesdays with Tim and Jeff, 73 from DX Engineering.